Get Valiant.
This is Get Valiant. Those dudes to my, what would that be, my left and down below, they're also Get Valiant.
We're all Get Valiant.
We're all getting Valiant with the big 183.
I think that's my new tagline for us. Getting Valiant and staying Valiant.
Getting Valiant and staying Valiant. It's got a nice ring to it.
We're so Valiant.
So Valiant. That's our new thing, is So Valiant.
Right.
It's so that's so Valiant, like that's so Raven.
That's right. When one of us leaves this podcast to make their own like splinter offshoot podcast, it's gonna be called That's So Valiant. Like, Get Valiant. This is so Valiant.
It's happening. It's happening.
That's the sassy episode of Valiant fandom.
Well, welcome to book number 2 of the month, guys. How you doing?
Good.
I'm doing all right. I literally just got done reading it, so that's fun.
Wow.
Cool.
Good.
Because I don't read them until the last second.
We're feeling Valiant. That's darn right, Scott Bloom. So that's about all we can feel right now. New comic book day, a Valiant comic book day. So,
I'm feeling Minnesota.
What are people feeling in the news?
Like, what do you mean? Like, what news?
I like Valiant news. I don't want to get into the other stuff.
Is there any Valiant news? I can't remember.
I think a little bit of this book that we'll talk about later at the end, of it kind of not being there. So, yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later.
Some cool happening next week or two. So,
yeah.
That's it.
That's the news. That's
the news.
There isn't a lot of news. That's the thing.
I mean, the news is no news really right now. So that's, yeah.
So the thing about it is, and we've talked about this before, there are only 2 Valiant books every month. And I guess the question is how to feel about that. And well, the question is why. And it's hard not to think like there are 2 directions that Valiant could have gone when COVID hit, right? Because, I mean, it really all comes down to COVID. It comes down to pencils down. It comes down to comic book shops closing their doors for an extended period of time. And there are 2 directions that Valiant could have gone. Valiant could have said, like, okay, we're going to have to close, or we know comic book shops are closing, but we're going to spend a whole bunch of money anyway and make 1 million books and, you know, come out of this guns blazing. Or they could have said, comic book shops are closing, the world is shutting down, and we need to watch and wait and see what happens in order to decide the best course of action. Right? Like, are there any other options besides those 2? And knowing that those are the 2 options that are available to them, it seems like they said, we're going to see what happens in the world, and we're going to try to be smart about this. Do I want more books a month? Yes. Absolutely. I want no. Absolutely, I want more books a month. I want 6 books. I want 10 books, 12 books, 20 books a month. Bring it on. Let me read comics. Let me get these characters on the shelves. But as I said in the last episode, I would rather have 2 books a month than no books a month. And if that's the choice that I'm given, give me 2 books a month.
Well said. Well said.
That was my rant. Sorry. I know that was a big old tangent, but I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and I just feel like at the end of the day, let's all drop our cameras. At the end of the day,
that's how mad I was.
I would rather have 2 books a month than no books a month, and I think that that's what it comes down to for me. Does that mean that that's how the way everyone else needs to feel? Absolutely not.
Everybody has to feel the exact same way you do. That's how it all works. Come on.
It does.
Agree
Eric
with me.
speaks,
now.
Eric speaks for the
Or
entire
else.
podcast. That's how it is. We're all of one mind. So if one of us says it, all three of us think it. That's how it goes.
And everyone who watches or listens to this podcast and everyone who listens to Valiant automatically has to feel the same way as I do.
Yeah. So for the second week, my new little tripod is giving me some issues.
It's a sad world we live in.
Yep. I would say that it's very stiff, but then I didn't want Eric to say something like that's what she said. No.
What now? She said what?
Well, your tripod doesn't seem like it's very stiff. It seems like it's kind of limp.
It's not very limp.
It's falling over.
It's very hard to bend. Let me tell you.
Oh, okay. Don't bend it too hard; it'll break.
I don't know.
I love the poster behind you. Where'd you get that?
Who? Me?
Josh. I mean, I guess I could be talking to the other Josh.
Well, I got this poster from I want to say it was from Paul Tessinier of Valiant Central fame, like 4 years ago or 3 years ago. When he was still on Facebook and active in the Facebook groups. And I used to use it when I first had this setup. And then Valiant sent me a Bloodshot poster, and I used that Bloodshot poster for a while.
Just like going over Eric's head right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then my frame broke, and I was like, oh, I forgot that I put the old Valiant poster behind the Bloodshot poster, and I do like this poster a little bit more. It's a little bit more of an iconic image of Valiant for me. The Valiant is one of the best Valiant books that's been put out since 2012. So I'm using it. If Valiant wants to send me a new poster, I would gladly put a new one in.
Yeah, come on. Where are you at?
Wink,
Valiant, with the free poster?
Wink.
Well, like Shadow Man or something?
Like Shadow Man, like the upcoming Shadow Man book, or the upcoming
Wink.
Savage book. Wink, wink. Greg
Wink.
Katzman, the media guy at Valiant. Do you see this wink?
Or that new Harbinger one?
The Harbinger one. Or
remember when we were the first ones to reveal that Harbinger hand?
The hand.
It was Pete's old stranger. It's ready.
I can't do it. I don't have enough space. Eric made up an interesting point, and we didn't even talk about.
I'm so glad it's happening.
Well, this time we're changing it up.
Well, this isn't even a spoiler. Come on. I was talking to John about this. The last episode that we did, we had a conversation, and Eric brought this up at the beginning of the episode, kind of about how, when we don't have as much money for comics because we're not buying as much Valiant stuff, we have money to be put in some other places. And I made the comment like, oh man, if you don't give me enough Valiant books to buy, I have to buy other stuff. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I still need some Valiant books. And so I decided that this year I want to try to pick up all of the old Nintendo books that Valiant put out in the early 90s. And I got the first two that I bought already. So I bought Super Mario Brothers 1.
Boom.
And then this special edition one. And these books are actually kind of sweet. The art in them is just like what the games look like. But the paper stock and the covers, they really remind me of how the pre-order editions used to be. How we used to buy these pre-order editions that had like the really nice thick cardstock.
The prestige.
Yeah, I mean they feel like prestige cover, like prestige books. These books cost $2 when they came out in like the early 90s. And they feel nice, man. Like my Zelda books don't feel like that at all. So it was kind of neat. Like when I got these and I cracked one of them open just to like kind of feel what the paper and the cover were like, and I was like, wow, this was good stuff. I could see why trying to get like a new publisher, going up in the 90s, people would have picked up on that stuff and be like, wow, like I don't know much about this company. They're putting out only licensed books at the time. So if you were to grab books like that off the shelf that were priced just pretty similar to what everyone else was doing, the quality was definitely there. And I think maybe that's the only thing you can really do when you have nothing else to really go off of other than You know, we got a couple licenses and we're working on some other stuff.
Yeah.
Did
you get any of those WWF ones when they were publishing those?
Not the Valiant ones. I used to have the WCW ones,
Yes.
which were just hokey, so bad, so bad they're funny. Like if I look at them now, they're hilarious. It just is like they're trying to they're really trying to sell like kayfabe on you, like really bad, like within the pages of a comic. It's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I've never read the Valiant ones. I know that the Spider-Man co-creator Steve Ditko, he worked on one of those books. You know, because he liked the concept of good and evil within the world of wrestling. I guess I don't know. It worked with his Ayn Rand philosophies.
I think they try it anyway, right? I think they really. I mean, wrestling really tries to kind of take pages from comic books to a degree. It feels like
Probably somewhat, yeah. There used to be. Well, he's still around. I don't know where he wrestles now, but there was a guy named Hurricane Helms, and Hurricane Helms' his whole gimmick was he was a backstage reporter, and nobody knew. No one was supposed to know who he was, and then he would come out as the Hurricane, and he looked like Green Lantern. And I want to say he even had like a Green Lantern tattoo.
This all sounds like a bunch of nonsense to me.
Oh, that's right. You don't watch anything. You don't watch wrestling.
No, because I wrestled in school for 10 years, so I know what wrestling is and
you
what
were
they
in high school for 10 years.
Okay, well, I wrestled in school for 10 years.
You were in school for 10 years wrestling.
I was in school for more than 10 years, but I only wrestled for 10 of them.
Nice.
So I know what wrestling is and what they do on those shows. Spoiler alert, not wrestling.
It's wrestling. Okay.
So
what I did is wrestling.
What you did is wrestling, Greco-Roman.
you're trying to say Kurt Angle is not a wrestler?
Yeah.
I'm saying that Kurt Angle was a wrestler, and then he became a TV personality.
Got Chris Gable.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, Shorty G, man.
Possibly was a wrestler and then became a TV personality.
Well, I wrestled too since I was in second grade, so it was
yeah. Well, I wrestled since I was in kindergarten. So
well, you know what? I've never done either of those things, but I can body slam somebody pretty good. I do it to my kids all the time. They love it. So you know, I've got that going for me. I got my feet down.
Whenever we meet, I will body slam the shit out of you.
I will put you up in the jackhammer, which is like the Bill Goldberg finishing.
Right. See if you like the figure four, the scorpion.
Scorpion Deathlock, the Stinger Splash.
Yeah.
I don't know if you realize how fat I am. You are not putting me in any mood.
Are you kidding me? These guns, I don't even call them arms. They're called pythons, okay? Brother.
Wait. Are you going to show this thing?
Yeah, brother.
Nope. I thought about it, but then I was like, nah. Maybe just, I'll put it down here so you have to like.
All right.
Well, the tattoos on them add like a couple inches to how big they are.
Hey, I got tattoos.
Let's move forward. You know, just curious. Hey, do you guys know what it calls when Batman skips church?
What?
Christian Bale. Oh, there you go, kids. I think we should talk about a book. What do you guys think?
Wah. That's what I think.
Spoiler time. X-O Manowar number 4. We are talking about that book. And yeah, I guess we can get into creators on this. Writer, Dennis Hopeless. Artist, Emilio Laiso. Colors, Ruth Redmond. So
that looks good. That's a good graphic.
Yeah, can I just say this book looks phenomenal. The art in here, the line work by Emilio Laiso and the colors by Ruth Redmond, just gorgeous. I don't know who did that cover. Who did that cover that you're showing? Not that.
The artist. I'm not sure.
I don't know who did the cover. That 1 in 25 is Michael Walsh, I believe.
Oh.
My pre-order of it got canceled by the Nerd Store on my Comic Hub order.
What a bunch of dicks.
I was kind of sad because I haven't been buying any variants. So I was like, I really wish I could have gotten that.
Yep.
That one right here, that Tales of Shanhara, I noticed that Valiant's really ramped up their shop exclusive variants, which I'm totally cool with. I just can't ever afford them. It just seems like there's a lot of them now. And
yeah,
but they look rad. They look great. That one right there, where it's like the Tales of Suspense homage, first appearance of Iron Man.
Something that I will say about this
awesome.
book. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
Something I will say about this book, no matter what you think about the story, and we'll get into the story, trust me, and we'll have some differing opinions about the story, I'm sure. No matter what you think about this book, it looks phenomenal. The covers are amazing. Definitely worth getting the ratio variants. And the interiors are gorgeous. So I don't think... Can we all just agree on those two things? The covers look awesome and are worth getting, and the interiors look amazing. Can we just?
I totally agree. I 100% back that idea.
I agree. I just don't know how much of a fan I am of Arik and a Chastity wearing a big blue cup.
Well,
you
know what?
We're not talking about that yet.
But that's part of the art. That's part of the design. Design is part of art.
I have a point about that later on. We can talk about.
Okay.
There's a reason why he's got it. Okay.
Yeah,
he is saving himself for marriage.
Hey,
right?
that's what she said.
He is saving himself for marriage.
Yeah, I can see that the covers. They're doing a great job with the covers. This is a beautiful piece right here with this.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very good looking.
That
right?
Christian Ward on that cover.
You know what? I think that one is Christian Ward, but
God,
if you guys know, correct me in the chat.
It is awesome.
Beautiful, and then like you're talking about some art, and I agree that the art looks pretty darn good. So,
honestly, this is a difficult call. I don't know what's going on with my throat.
Do you need
COVID? It's the Mountain Dew.
I got the Rona. This is a difficult call, but I really, really like the line art on this. But I think the colors are actually the best part of the art in this book. The colors are so like look at these interior pages. They're so they're bombastic when they need to be. They're nuanced when they need to be. I don't know, man.
So I agree with that.
Is a professional badass, in my opinion.
So I agree with that because the opening sequence, which shows an army in Brooklyn trying to draw out X-O Manowar, that's part of the story. I just thought a lot of the machines and a lot of the buildings and everything that I thought the color just worked so well with the pencils. So I mean, like you're saying, I just don't think there's any arguing, at least amongst the three of us,
right?
That this is a really the art is there, the quality of art it's what we expect from Valiant.
Yes.
It's there.
100%. That's I said that's what she said. I that's what she said myself.
But yeah, I agree. I mean, you're looking at some pretty good pencils. You're looking at some colors that really match it really well. I do think that they do great angles. I do think that there's a great approach that's being done with the art itself. And I had I think we talked about some choice on designs for certain things. An interesting story that happens here too when Arik gets to go to war. He gets to battle and throw some Iron Man 3 multiple X-O type suits coming out of nowhere. So
yeah, so I did not pick up on that. I mean, I don't know if that's what Dennis Hopeless was going for, but we were talking about this before the episode. And in the beginning, there's the robots that Troy, the billionaire boat dude, had built. Yeah, Troy Whitaker. They're all panned up like X-O Manowar, and he's just sending them as a ploy against this general. And I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh yeah, that is kind of like Iron Man 3, where there's the big all-out battle between the extremist people and all the various Iron Man armors. Kind of neat.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. Personally, This issue did not go the way that I expected it to, and that in and of itself is cool. The story was written in a way that was unexpected to a degree. Once we figured out what was going on, okay, like then the whole thing with the general played out. X-O had to kill him. He had to kill him, right? Like it was either kill him or let the boy die. Easy choice, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's put in a situation. He's boxed in. He doesn't have another option.
Yeah. So I think he made the right call there, and I like that they had, the cop saying, look, I changed my mind on this. X-O was the only one that could have saved us. Then we go to the yacht, and the that nanite swarm shows up. And I genuinely, and I remember saying this on a previous episode, when that nanite swarm showed up in the forest fire, I had been saying that Whitaker sent that nanite swarm so that he would convince X-O to let him into the suit, to let him make some modifications, and that they would come back to bite X-O in the ass later. Well, I'm not 100% convinced the other direction, but I'm not really sure what to think now, and that's a really fun place to be, because the nanite swarm showed back up and it attacked Whitaker, kind of, seemingly attacked Whitaker. Did it really attack him? Is it under his control? I don't know, but it seemingly attacked him, and Whitaker bailed out, and then now X-O is fighting that nanite swarm, and it ends on Shanhara no longer responding to Arik. And that's like I feel like we're in a place right now where it's really hard to predict what's going to happen next. And that's a very exciting place for an arc to end and to see the next arc begin. I just wish the next arc was starting next month.
Yeah. So, here's one thing I want to say, since we're talking about this issue finally. The general, he got attacked by that kid that's really close to X-O Manowar, where he got kicked in the groin. And I think that's why there's a big cut piece on the new armor, because Shanhara ain't taking any chances, okay? He knows it's a big weakness. Arik's human, he takes that shot, he's down for the count,
I thought it was a little bit more like, this is my rifle, this is my gun, this is for fighting, this is for fun. I'm not sure. It just seemed like a little bit of an interesting choice of direction there. And then looking back at previous design, I think that it looked better, though, kind of the way it was, more like a belt than it was a cup.
Yeah.
And that's just thoughts of design, really.
Yeah.
And it looked weird when it first kind of exposed in the last issue, where we're starting to get the souped up X-O Manowar, and and I think we have to call it, because to me there's an elephant in the room within this issue where you're seeing Shanhara just being a blue Amazon Echo, and you're still seeing Arik wearing the armor.
Not in the panels that you're showing, but yes.
In the panel I'm showing right here in the top left corner shows it.
Yeah,
yes.
There's that little blue ball.
And then the one where he's not there present is in the TV. He's not even there, and he's currently wearing it, getting onto it. And then if you look at the bottom, he basically will say, speak of the devil. There he is. So he's having a full conversation with Shanhara on his table, while Arik is also wearing Shanhara.
Yeah, so here that's something I had wondered about, because when I read through this issue, I was like, something's really off here, and to me, this dude just reeks of ultimately the evil villain, the evil billionaire villain. He's just waiting. He's just waiting for his chance, and I just wonder if his chance was he found a way to hack into Shanhara in the previous issue, which supposedly just boosted X-O Manowar to make him so much more powerful. And in the case of that, though, is that now Troy Whitaker guy has access to Shanhara, or at least a part of it, because it's just a blue ball, and usually you see Shanhara's blue and gold, but maybe this is just how it is. It's just a little piece of that overall symbiotic thing that is Shanhara. And I just wonder if maybe at some point this dude, maybe with the help of that nanites form that he's got that went into him, maybe that's not his way to try to take on the abilities of the armor for himself, maybe in a later issue. Just wondering.
And we had talked about that, and it's kind of weird when you look back to, X-O being up on the Vine planet and how picky it was to pick its next wearer. And then, to have this kind of clearly from 100 miles away, this creepy guy who's kind of got an alter agenda is able to kind of get that trust and,
Shanhara is listening to Arik, though. Shanhara chose Arik and trusts Arik. And when Arik trusts Whitaker, which I will agree is the wrong move, Arik should not be trusting Whitaker at all, but he is. Shanhara is listening to Arik. So I think that there's some consistency there. I don't think that's 100% off, right? Like, I think that makes sense to me.
Yeah. I don't know, because he makes that thing that he goes into when they get attacked. He makes like a big giant ball to go into.
Right.
Out of his
Yeah, and who doesn't want to go into a big giant ball? I mean,
everybody. I wish I could go into one right now.
Yep.
And just cry myself to sleep over this. No.
Just be like John Travolta and the boy in the bubble. Just get it over with. It's happening. He kind of looks like John Travolta. Whoa.
Eric.
I'm dying.
Man.
Oh my God. Get in the bubble. Get in the bubble.
I thought you let the dogs out. That's how loud that barking was.
Eric let the dogs out.
Did you know that song? Never mind. I think, though, okay, so the art on this book, absolutely fucking phenomenal. I don't think that the art could really be any better. And the colors are even better than the lines themselves. That's my opinion. The story on this book, I don't know, man. Like, is it a little bit weird that Shanhara is there talking to Whitaker while Arik is flying around wearing Shanhara? Yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. But it's still pretty fucking badass. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on here. And the coolest thing is that we're left on this cliffhanger that we really want to know what's going on. And the best thing that a comic can do is leave you wanting more so that you come back for the next issue. And as much as I wish the next issue was going to be next month, and we unfortunately know that it's not, I'm really happy that we're left in a spot where if you're reading this comic, you're going to come back and you're going to read the next issue. That's really important. And I don't know, man. I mean, I think that this is really good. Is it a 5 out of 5? I don't think so. I'm sorry.
Well, what do you think it is, though?
Is it really good? Yes, it is really good. We had Scott already give it a 4.25 in the comments. Can I match that score? I don't know. I think the art is a 5 out of 5. I don't think that I could ask for anything better out of this art. It looks like a comic book. It looks like...
Can I say that? That's a really good thing. That it looks like a comic book. I'm so happy.
What I mean is like look at like Renato Gatiss' art.
It looks like a piece of work.
I'm not trying to shit on Renato Gatiss right now. But his art does not look like comic book art. It looks like 3D models. Right?
Great. This episode is not going to be remembered as episode 183, the episode where Eric shit all over Renato Gatiss. Thank you.
Yep. Somebody don't quote that.
Oh man!
Don't put that on the book, Valiant.
No. What I'm saying though is that this looks like really, really good comic book art. When I go into a comic book shop and I pick a comic book up off of the stands, I hope that it looks this fucking good. That's what I'm trying to say.
So I don't know if we ever answered this. I think I might have asked this before, and maybe one of you know. Where did Emilio Laiso come from? Because I think his art's great, and it's like, what book was he? Who let him go? You know,
I think he had done some. God, I want to say he had done some Star Wars, but I'm not sure.
Man, his art. I just think like what he's got going on here. I'm not sure who colored him wherever else he worked. Him and Rich Redmond really work well together. I think that she's got a good grasp for what he's putting on the page. Her palette is just, it works really well with what he's doing. I think for me, like on this book, it's an all right book to read.
Are you going to let me rate it or not?
Oh, shit. Sorry. We just blew past you. What's your score, man?
So the art on this is a 5 out of 5. It's 100% there. The story on this, my only issue, rate everything and go with an average. Yes, Scott, I'm 100% with you. So the story on this issue isn't a 5 out of 5 only because we don't have, and I'm looking at this arc as a whole, we don't have the same level of nod to continuity that we've had in previous series. And I know Hoosier's going to agree with me on this.
That's an easy one.
Yes. So that is the only negative here. Knowing that is the only negative here, I would give the art on this I already gave the art a 5. I would give the writing on this somewhere between a 3.5 and a 3.75. That brings my overall total score. Damn it. I got to do it. I got to agree with Scott, and I got to give this book a 4.25 out of 5. I would love to give it higher if I could, but I can't. And that's where I come in. I think it's a really, really solid book. I think people should be reading this book. Here's what it is. This doesn't feel exactly like a lot of the Valiant comics we've read in the past, but it feels like an amazingly well-written and well-drawn superhero comic book. It's very good for what it is. It's very good for what it is.
Yeah. So one thing I do agree with is that it doesn't quite feel like the old Valiant books that we've read before, and that, a lot of that can just come down to the fact that we've had change in editors and things like that with Valiant. This isn't saying it's a bad thing. Okay. So I do kind of like sometimes when they change things a little bit so that the feel is different. To feel not necessarily a good or a bad thing, but you can change how these books kind of come across sometimes just because you've got to do things that kind of pull in some new readers. I'm okay with it. I'm not going to be as hard on this book as I've been on previous issues. Most of my problems with this book on the writing side just stem from the fact that I don't have any clue with some of the things that have happened. Like, why does Troy Whitaker have access to Sean Hara in a way that he shouldn't? Like things like that. Like, if I would have been on for the episode where we talked about issue 3, I would have been like, how the hell these dudes get to Brooklyn so fast from the Ukraine with all their heavy gear? But I wasn't on for that episode, so I can't bitch about that as much as I want to. Because it doesn't make fucking sense. But, within the realms of this issue, there's something that they did do that is done really well with the writing, and it's something that Eric and I think even John has agreed with us on this. Art cares so much for the people around him. They're not just like a bunch of individuals in the background. Arik genuinely cares about the community around him, whether it's in Romania at the very beginning of Unity, whether it was in Nebraska with the rest of the Visigoths in the pages of VEI's Volume 1 of X-O Manowar. He genuinely loves the community around him. I like seeing the fact that they're central to part of the storyline. He's sticking his neck out for them. He did the right thing in killing this general, even though he didn't really want to. He explained in his thoughts, like, I don't want to do this. This is why I don't want to do it. I love the fact that the cop had his back. I thought that was great. So like the confusing stuff though with like the art with Sean Hara, like the Amazon Alexa of armor, if you will, as John was saying. That's the only thing where I'm just like, I don't know what to think of the writing. But the story itself has been good. It's going to be kind of hard to wait until August for this to pick back up. So on the art side, it's good for what it is. I think like everything's great on that side. On the writing, I go a little bit lower. Overall, my score is going to be a 4. Just because like I've been hard on this book. I've been hard on. I wasn't on for the 3rd issue, but I was hard on the 2nd issue pretty bad. But I thought this one was solid. I just have some really weird questions though about what is Auric and Shanhar's relationship? What is this Troy Whitaker guy able to do? And is Auric basically getting played like a sucker by some dude with a bunch of money? By a dude with a bunch of money and a boat. Like he's like, oh shit, man. Like
I think he's getting played. I think Auric is a little bit naive, and I think that actually fits with previous continuity.
Yeah. But I was surprised at how much I liked this issue when it was done. Because I have been hard, and I was kind of like, I can't wait to rip this book a little bit. I did kind of have that like moment because I was like, it's been mediocre, but this last issue was solid. And yeah, bring on August.
What did you give it, Josh?
A 4.
A 4. Okay. Again, like you guys have said, art. I enjoyed the art. I enjoyed the colors quite a bit. I think that it has done really well with that. Josh does bring a point of them traveling really, really quick. I overlooked that until you said that. I really get some interesting pieces of both Shanhara and Auric being naive, both of them being played. Just doesn't seem, I've heard somebody said like doesn't seem like King Auric, doesn't seem like the same character, which it's not. It's a different take. I understand that. But the all blue, ball on the ground, also being in 2 places at once, it just really is a interesting story. I mean, I think Auric is just kind of turned into this, passive guy just sitting on the back, kind of hanging out. And it's not the ideal story for me. That doesn't mean it's, like horrible, but it's just not one that I'm enjoying. It's not one that I kind of, have fell in love with. Like sounds like you guys have as much. I am going to be, with this one all the way around. I'm going to be like at a 3.25 with this. I still think that's a passing score type of thing. I've read worse. I've seen worse. Valiant's produced, it's not, what Dead Drop, anything like that. But, and it's sad to see Auric on the shelf again, even though it's only for a couple more months. And that is something that I hope that we get figured out soon. I hope that more comes to be with that, and we figure out just a little bit what's next within Valiant. What's Valiant going to be producing in the coming months? What's going to happen with just the 2 books? And I think that there's Valiant's. They're doing their best. I know that. I know that, the guys that are there, I believe that they are trying their hardest to make the best stuff come out. And I applaud them and I encourage them. So I want, I think everybody wants the best for Valiant. I think that's where all the passion comes about with all of the books that are happening. It's why we want more books because we're passionate about it. And so I think that right there is to be fair. And also I guess to be fair, put this out there next week to get some answers for us. We have a Q&A with Matthew Klein.
Yes.
So, and
where my values? This guy, if anyone has answers, this is the guy with answers.
Josh, you better be there because I like talking wrestling with
oh yeah, I wouldn't miss out if Matthew's gonna be on, just so we can actually all have a conversation.
Well, like Royal Rumble, we could discuss the Royal Rumble.
But not Eric, because Eric doesn't like wrestling at all.
Are you gonna make me miss this episode? Are you gonna make me sit this one out?
No, you could talk about Greco-Roman and like your leotard and your headset.
Your singlet, yeah, your singlet,
the singlet and the headset, and how you probably used to look like the dog-faced gremlin.
Did you used to do freestyle? Did you do freestyle with the really really low around the hips, or did you do Greco-Roman? Which one was it?
Don't make me come over there and put you in a headlock.
No, but which one did you do? Did you do freestyle or Greco-Roman?
I would love that because then we would meet in person.
Did you do collegiate style or what?
If I have to come over there, Hoosier, I am putting you in a headlock.
Did you do collegiate or freestyle?
Your head My lock.
Collegiate or freestyle? Which wrestling did you do?
Ooh, headlock.
Collegiate or freestyle? Which
I'm
one?
going to put you in a headlock. Then I'm going to hip toss you and put you on the ground. And you're
I'm just
going
going to roll your back over and just get points and tech you. That's it. You're just going to be teched. That's it. You know,
it's happening. Now it's happening. You just brought this upon yourself.
Dude, one day there's going to be a Get Valiant wrestling match.
John,
Eric's going to be
he's putting a promo on you. You should just let him.
Yeah, let's cut it. Come on. You should have been a wrestler.
I was a wrestler.
No, a wrestler.
It's never too late. It's never too late to find your inner wrestler.
As a real wrestler,
well, they're
right?
real. I mean, they really wrestle. I mean,
they don't really wrestle. Okay,
It's real.
It's real. It's real to me, damn it. Real to me, damn it.
Wrestling's not fake.
Hey, you tell that to RoboCop when he showed up at one of the WCW pay-per-views when I was a kid. I'm sure that was real.
Word up. You tell it to Snoop Dogg.
Oh, that's awful.
Come on.
And Donald Trump.
Oh, that's right. Mr. T. What? But we all know.
I'm just trying to think of all the other awful things I've seen as a child watching wrestling. There's lots of it. Usually on WCW.
Yeah, WCW, man. If they didn't have Sting, man, if it didn't have the icon.
That's right.
Sting was the man.
I did like WCW more than I liked WWEF.
At that time, yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
I was more of an NWO guy than a DX guy, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So
I hate it because there's so much I want to talk about of it, and I just know that Eric's just like, come on, can't we just fucking talk about comics?
But the moral of this story, the moral of all this story is we're going to talk wrestling with Matthew Klein and maybe some Valiant Comics. That's the moral of this story. We're getting back to where it is. I think, somebody had put a decent thing in the chat, and I thought that was interesting, is that this arc of X-O Manowar was basically Art getting PR, right? And then having read the preview pages of Savage, it's Savage getting PR. So it looks like a little PR trope that's happening.
I haven't read this. I stopped at the preview. I didn't want to read it yet.
Okay.
One thing I'm kind of curious about is like right now the line is Bloodshot and X-O Manowar, and I'm curious to see how things are going to be when it's Shadow Man, and then kind of a relative newcomer with Savage. We only had the one 4-issue story arc before. We'll have to see how that goes, but I'm very excited for Shadow Man. Shadow Man's one of my favorites, so I'm hoping for some good things, and it looks great. I mean, I think. It's not next month, is it? Is it next month that comes out?
It's Shadow Man and the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Shadow Man and the Macho Man.
I'm going to see how we could get wrestling into any of it.
I'm sure Matthew has worked on it at some point. That's one of my favorite. Like, I never knew, like when you do these, like a podcast, or if you write about Valiant a lot, you start being like, oh, I need to like follow people on social media, see what else I could pick up on. So it's like, oh, I'll follow Dinesh, because why wouldn't you follow Dinesh back in the day? Or Josh Johns, all these people. And I just remember like Matthew Klein, I was like, oh, I'll follow him. He's a nice enough guy. And it was just like wrestling, vacations. I was like, I like to travel. I like wrestling. Like, dude,
why can't we be friends?
Yeah. What? Come on, man.
And comic books? What?
And Valiant?
Yeah. That's it.
So.
No, I'm excited for next week to get there and talk about that. And you're definitely right. It's going to be different when you have some different characters on there. I'm really excited for Shadow Man and Colin Bunn. I really think I hope that's a really good book. I hope it sells really well. I hope people are on their pre-orders with it like nobody's business.
Yes.
And we get a lot of Shadow Man. I hope people jump in there. I think they're going to do the pre-order arc. And to keep a book to going longevity, we got to get some pre-order sales. And if there's a character like that you really want, and like I said, I have some faith in this creative team. I have some faith in just all of that with Shadow Man. I'm pumped for it. Pre-order the crap out of it, guys.
Yeah. There's a thing I want to point out. We all want to see books reach issue
25,
issue 25, issue 50, issue 100. There's only one way to do that: buy the book. And we've already seen the art on the new Shadow Man looks amazing. We already know Colin Budd knows how to write horror comics. We've already heard that Shadow Man is going to be Valiant dipping their toes into the horror universe, like the horror genre.
Yeah, you can go back to a Robert Meyer interview that we had where he says it is the most horror thing that's happened, and it could almost be rated mature to a degree. So I think that it's something to really, really look forward to. Again, the cover's looking great. The design is looking awesome. John Davis Hunt has got some great work. Yeah,
I think the stuff that John Davis Hunt we've seen from John Davis Hunt so far looks fucking phenomenal.
Didn't he work on the Wildstorm?
I don't
know.
Is
I
that
believe
what he's
so.
from?
Yeah.
Man, that book's way good. I read the first 2 trades of that. I liked it a lot. And his art's great. So yeah, my thought is, I was a big fan of Punk Mambo, the Colin Bunn series that he did, and it had touches of horror. It had a lot of horror elements to it, So if it can be like that but darker, I'll be way happy. Way more like that and a lot less like Roku. That's all. That's all I want.
Roku wasn't bad.
It's not one of my favorites.
I enjoyed Punk Mambo dramatically more than Roku. So I'm hoping that we get some of that. So I think he's done some interesting stuff, some talent, and I'm waiting for the ongoing and getting a staple character like Shadow Man. So, and I think that's what we got next. We got a couple Bloodshot books coming. I think is it Savage going to be one of the next ones as well?
I don't know.
Around the corner. So I'm going to pull up some Valiant calendar and make sure we're ahead of our game here. We got Savage number 1 on February 17th. Bloodshot number 11 on February 24th.
Awesome.
So
sounds great to me.
Yep. 1 and 11. So, and then, we don't have a whole lot of Bloodshot left to go either. I think we got 2 more issues of Bloodshot, Eric, before that's kind of put away for a little bit.
Why do you have to bring that up?
I like getting your hopes and dreams and stepping on them. Because that's what I would do if we were in the wrestling ring. All your hopes and all your dreams would be crushed.
You son of a bitch.
Well, all right.
All right. So now that we got that, crushing hopes and dreams.
No, I'm really excited to see where Bloodshot goes. We finally got Wiggins. We got KT in the comics. This is a really good time to be reading Bloodshot comics. I want to see what happens next. I'm really excited to see where X-O goes. What the fuck is happening in X-O right now? We don't know. Savage, I don't know what to think about Savage. We'll see what it comes out to be. Shadow Man looks like it's going to be fucking amazing. So everybody should be jumping on board with that. We've got new stuff coming. Do I want there to be 30 books a month? Absolutely. Would I rather have 2 books a month than none? Yes. So I don't
want 30 though. I mean, let's get real. I want 10.
30 books a month.
That's what we're
30. Matthew about next.
I do have a comic book budget, right? So, and I want to spend that budget. I don't want to just, it's more than $8. Let's put it that way. And I'm ready to spend all of that on Valiant Comics. And your guys' thought. What do you think is the great range of comic books? Go ahead and hit that with this information here. Boom. Subscribe, like, comment, do that stuff.
Please, people, subscribe to our channel, or Hoodoo TV's channel. So, like the video, hit that button so that you know when we go live, the bell, and join us next week when we talk to Matthew, because we are going to be asking some hard-hitting questions. We are not going to shy away. And if you have some hard-hitting questions that you want to ask, join the conversation. That's why you hit that bell, so you know when we go live, and you can be a part of the conversation. Talk to the VP of Sales at Valiant, have your voice heard, have your questions answered, and know that this is the opportunity. Do you want to know when there are going to be more than 2 books a month? Do you want to know when your favorite character is coming back? Do you want to know what's really going on behind the scenes? This is your opportunity to get those questions answered. Join us next week.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, join us. Yeah.
I don't think any of us could have said it any better, Eric.
Even drunk.
Wait, are you going to try it again?
Who's a what now?
We're going to be rocking and rolling next week with Matthew Klein, so hopefully everybody joins. Yeah.
And we'll have to spoiler alert Matthew Klein every time he tries to talk. Wah, wah.
All right, guys. Stay valiant. We'll see you next week.